I think we need to kind of briefly go into the updates. And then just for the sake of clarity.
What I wanted to add, by the way, is I spoke with Quant Updates regularly. Good old boss is behind this. Friend of the show. Part of our core team. He's been providing them with a lot of valuable feedback. And I won't go into details. That's not for me to do. But he has provided a lot of value to Quant as being a quote unquote end user. Or a developer, I don't know how you want to call that. But I think if they can expand on their army, quote unquote army of developers motivated to work for them, even though they could be complete noobs like myself, if the support is kind of there, that would motivate a lot of people, and it could actually expedite potentially the development of their products. So anyway. Tim, as you said, our good old conductor, that's a conductor, right? Somebody who orchestrates the music.
Yeah.
Moving to the update. So the first one that they hadn't released and they released just now is Overledger release 2.2.21. That's 21. It adds more functionality for the QRC721 token and the QRC20 token APIs. You can now monitor smart contract events for their QRC721 token and receive updates directly to a callback URL. So, what is in there is in the release notes, so you can find that in the tweet. It's in the tweet itself. I'm trying to click, but every time I get the Zoom pop-up. Let's log that away. What is this? Oh man, and I doxed my entire life once again. Proper preparation and planning prevents piss poor performance.
Hey, but while you were
fucking about,
computer, and well, me having zero technical skills, just to make it clear. We didn't necessarily know about these updates, right? So we were living under the perception that nothing was being done in terms of all the fortnightly release schedule and bi-weekly releases that they do, so every 2 weeks. But they've done that, and if you look at the timeline, they have been actually pushing out updates every 2 weeks. For some reason, though, we weren't aware of it.
Yeah, it was not available on their website, and it could very well be because this is about QRC 721. This one is also QRC 721. So that's like the Quant interoperable multi-chain version of NFTs, right?
Yeah.
This is also just technical, as you can see. There's not much going on. It's just the sandbox and production API stuff, and that's it. The same for the third one, QRC20 token APIs. There's not much in there, and I know from a source that somebody has given them feedback on what the fuck do these updates even mean. and that could have been potentially the trigger for them not releasing them anymore, because as you can see, the 3, so technically from November the 23rd, right, that leads into December 2nd week-ish, and so that's update number 1. That's this one. Then you got 2 weeks after that, that's right before Christmas, that will bring you here, and then we got like past
New Year's.
Christmas recess, past New Year's. So then we have this one somewhere mid-January. That would be like, what? Yeah, mid-January. And then this would then be
beginning of February-ish.
Yeah. And before we get to that,
I think it even aligns. I think the last update was on the 15th of February. And then that would mean that the next update would be like 1st of March or last day of February.
Yeah.
Lines perfectly, you know.
So there have been bi-weekly updates, but yeah, they were just frequent. So Celine Justice, if you're not following her, give her a follow. She's a happy one, apparently. Cryptic growth. This is emojis, right, for the people listening. What's this? This is a sprout growth mountain global. We now support Avalanche, AVAX, developer content network /docs/quad over blah blah blah, and that's where it brings us to. These are the release notes 2.2.24, and what I noticed straight off the bat is that they changed. Apologies, they changed the formatting. So as you remember from the last 3 very clinical Overledger updates, this one starts with the what's new. Then we have a bunch of logos, crypto companies. We're getting to that in a bit. Then we're getting this. What this means for you. To me, that's really interesting because I cannot remember that I've seen that at all, or at least recently. And they just use pretty plain language, in my opinion, to describe what they're doing. Then we're getting how you can benefit, which is also interesting because that's boiling down it even further, not making assumptions about the knowledge level. And obviously they could go in more depth. They didn't, which is fine. These are just release notes. And then they got some links and etc. So this is a lot more, in my opinion, oriented towards the more common folk, or maybe enterprise people that just lurk and don't want to get how do you say, demotivated from all these crazy tech updates.
I mean, it's still technical. It's just a bit more readable, legible to make it. Purely, hey, we've done this code and now this is new, and you can read the full details here.
Exactly. Let me read it for a bit. So Overledger 2.2.24, introducing Avalanche support and enhanced monitoring functionality for QRC tokens. What's new? From today, the complete list of Overledger APIs can now run on the Avalanche network. And Quant's chain-agnostic tokens and smart contracts can now be deployed on Avalanche C-Chain. These product enhancements mean that our users can now connect to up to 9 different networks. And then we see the logos, right? So we see from left to right, and Tim, jump in whenever I get lost. Ethereum, Bitcoin, Hyperledger Fabric, Hyperledger Bisu, not XRP, but Ripple. That was Polygon. The next one.
Yeah, that's Polygon, and then you have Polkadot, then you have XTC, and then you have Avalanche.
Yeah.
So and I think next to Hyperledger, that was. Sorry.
Yeah, and I spoke to Quanterscan. He's like, okay, I'm pretty surprised that Hyperledger Bisu is in there, because technically Hyperledger Bisu was never officially released for Overledger Public. And we always assumed that these updates pertain to Overledger Public mainnet, right? And not to the enterprise side of things. So this could mean a couple of things. One, it's always been there and they just never promoted it because it wasn't interesting to the public. Could also very well mean that what we hoped, what we've been speculating on, is that there could be a merger between Overledger Enterprise and Overledger Public eventually taking place, so that the support and everything will be merged, and there will just exist one Overledger network. Why? Because if you talk about distributed ledger networks, right, DLNs, you need the permission to be on that network anyway. You cannot simply access every part like you can with the internet. So you could very well, in my opinion and my limited knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, put everything on the same Overledger and just push updates for both at the same time, and they can both exist in the same Overledger. So this is just speculation, obviously. But it's interesting because what you see here is for the vast majority, quote unquote, crypto companies, right? And why this is interesting, we'll get to that in the end. Hyperledger Fabric is obviously private enterprise grade Ethereum and Hyperledger as well. Or am I mistaken now? I'm not very good. I spoke to Boss about this. I need to fucking read up on all the enterprise versions of everything.
I'm sorry, where's Corda here?
Yeah, it's not in there. I don't know why. That's why it's double interesting, triple interesting. R3, right? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, the rest of the release notes. So the Avalanche platform was designed to address some of the scalability issues faced by Ethereum and other blockchains. It offers a unique architecture that follows fast and efficient transactions with near instant finality and an eco-friendly consensus mechanism. We are also enabling enhanced monitoring for debit, credit, and approval on QRC tokens. What this means for you, given the increasing adoption and tokenization development on C-chain and its superior speed, we are now offering our users access to Avalanche smart contract chain to enable the creation of any Ethereum-compatible applications and assets. In addition to deploying your QRC tokens on Avalanche testnet, called Fuji, and Avalanche mainnet, called C-chain, you can now build your applications with Overledger API functions that were available for Ethereum. Example API actions available from today are creating AVAX, the native currency on Avalanche, transactions, searching, monitoring activity on an address, and more. How you can benefit. Tokenize will display the Fuji testnet and C-chain mainnet as options for token creation and deployment. And then we're getting the full list of APIs documented, can be found here. You can click on the link, the following are changes to monitoring smart contract events for QRC20 tokens. This is all pretty sophisticated, but you can get updates when token is credited, debit approval, credit QRC20, and act on behalf of another account for QRC20. So these were all in the previous layout, tier 3 functionalities, which is interesting because we have never ever heard back from if there's ever going to be a tier 3 and tier 4 once again. So maybe they just dropped that. I don't know. I know for a fact that only tier 1 and 2 are available for licensing right now. We made an episode about this, prices ranging from 9,600 to 18K per annum,
Yep.
which is steep, but you get the full support of Quant apparently. I do not know what the status of Galileo is anymore. I know that they wanted the QRC20, or they wanted, or they bought it for their Leox token, which will be going on public listing pretty soon. Same with a Uniswap listing. So they cannot go there if they do. They could technically go there without QRC20, but I think they won't because there's not really any rush for them. But that's all contingent on Tokenize being ready.
Yeah, and it could also very well be just an intern who missed Corda in this picture. I mean, you don't know. It could also be that these small mistakes there are many possibilities here.
Quant.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, interesting stuff, and I think it will just kind of crystallize in the future. But it's nice that we see some kind of development going on, because we've been in radio silence since December. And I mean,
November 23rd was their last.
This is the update that we posted.
That is literally 3 months ago. I mean, December, January, that's kind of a long time. So it's good to hear back from them.